Myrtle Beach Road Less Gravel Tour days 21 through 23. Yes, rain, which is great for box office. Speaking of box office, we got on the phone with our distributor, not knowing whether they would pull the plug on our next stop of Florence. After much explaining, they told us to hold tight in Myrtle Beach until they talked to the theater owners. So we packed and prepared to either head home or to Florence. Finally, we got word back.
Going to Florence. Road Less Gravel Tour does not end in Myrtle Beach.
It turned out we ended up third in the box office at the theater, and not only would we go to Florence, but we would hold over another week in Myrtle Beach. We said goodbye to our dear friends at Pirate Land and headed for Florence to our new host, Joy, and the Swamp Fox Campground. A quaint campground complete with one of those old school playgrounds, you know, the metal ones that are much more fun because you can actually get hurt. We settled into our new gig, and I had to say goodbye to my family, who I wouldn't see for another 3 weeks. The next morning, we went to the theater in Florence, and to our surprise, they hadn't even heard of our film, and it wasn't even on their schedule. So we called our distributor. Then we went to this Golden Corral in Florence, which was the Golden Corral where we shot the movie.
You got something to ask?
No. Yeah.
So this is Frank, and he is the manager here at the Golden Corral where we shot Cracker Jack.
That's absolutely right.
And you were here when we shot it, right?
We sure were. I'm still here, yes. Had a good showing.
Coming into a town with hardly any contacts was a bit overwhelming until we met Andy and Melissa. I want you to see what I mean about Andy and Melissa. This is a flash forward to a few days later, but I got to go over to their house and see how they open their home to folks all the time, especially international exchange students. They shared all their travels with me and their heart to connect with people, and how their son has that similar heart.
We gave him a trip around the world for a graduation gift to see the exchange students that had been his brothers and sisters, and he gave it back so he could go to Haiti to volunteer. So, yeah, he's a good kid.
Melissa had already laid out a game plan for how she was going to connect us with everyone she knew.
I have put together a spreadsheet of the businesses in town, so every time we go and see one, we can mark off what we've given them so you know where we've been, so you have a record of it. And we'll probably go to the farmer's market and pass out the cards and hit a couple of parking lots.
The next day, we struggled again with the theater, who was actually showing this 1994 action flick as our trailer. But despite the start, this day would be a phenomenal day of open doors in Florence.
I love what I do. I love promoting Florence.
This is Ashley and Corey, and they just got majorly busy helping us, printing stuff out, and we learned a little secret about Corey.
I did, yeah. I was actually a vocal performance major in college. So
Were you really?
I've played the Mother Abbess in The Sound of Music. The hills are alive with the sound of music.
So we decided we'd declare it Musical Theater Day.
Whoa!
Now, we thought we had already gotten special treatment, but then we met Ashley and Corey's boss, Holly. Holly's the type of person who doesn't talk about things. She jumps on the phone and gets things done. By the time we had finished lunch, she had already secured sponsorship of our private VIP screening and had gotten Chuck here to host our after party. Of course, we couldn't leave Holly out of participating in a musical theater day.
Okay, Willy Wonka. Oompa loompa doompa-dee-doo.
Cracker Jack!
Finally, we met Pete and Kendra Ludlow. They met and fell in love on the mission field in Argentina. Pete is a youth director and invited me to come speak to his youth next week.
I'm from England.
You're from England. Can you give us a y'all at all?
A y'all.
Oh, that was horrible. They, too, contributed to Musical Theater Day. Nice.
A drop of golden sun.
Including a little My Fair Lady thrown in there for good measure.
All I want is a room somewhere.
Cracker Jack!
Day 23 ended with Lisa and I parting for the first time on the trip. I was headed back to Myrtle Beach to speak and then to Knoxville, and then she was headed back to Atlanta for surgery to remove some skin cancer. While we both were uneasy about leaving Florence when we had just gotten traction, we felt blessed that God had given us Melissa and Andy and the staff at the Visitor Center to fill the gap of promoting the film in our absence.